Okay, my name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and I am a very rusty pilot here. And going to do a little flight today. I thought I would have some fun with you and do a little flight from Santa Monica Airport to San Luis Obispo. That's Kilo Sierra Bravo Papa. And I'll just ask for everybody's patience up front if there's anybody watching at all here today. And if not, that is entirely okay. I'm going to see if I can remember how to fly this airplane. So let's start with getting this baby fired up here. So first things first, let's go and put our keys in the ignition. Okay, there they are. Let's go take care of our caps here. We're going to take our caps cover off. We're going to take off our pin. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to record our engine and Hobbs information. So let's open up that glove box. Let's zoom in a little bit, make believe we got a brand new plane. So our Hobbs is going to be 7.2 hours, as you can see right there. Our engine hours is going to be an even 4.0, and we'll pick up our fuel on board here in a second. We put all that information over here on this little flight info sheet, which if you've watched my channel before, you've no doubt seen that. If you happen to stumble across us today and you'd like a copy of that, I'd be happy to provide one for you. You just let me know. Send me an email to my email account here on my YouTube channel, and we will knock that out for you. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this engine started up here. Let's go through our engine start sequence. The brakes are holding, which you can see right there. That's a check. Let's go battery 2, battery 1, and our strobe light. That's a check. We're going to go down and check our flap light. That should be green, and it is. Let's get that done. Okay, let's go down to our throttle quadrant here. First, we're going to wait for all those greens. We're going to go enter, enter, enter. We're going to get rid of that pesky little warning light right there. So let's go down to our throttle. We're going to go mixture full, powerful, right? Our screens are all set here. So now we're going to go down here. We're going to do, oops, let's get this all set. Make sure we got, okay, those are all set here now. Okay, so let's go. We're going to give it some 4 seconds of high boost prime right there, and then we're going to come up top here and monitor how that's going. Okay, so let's go up top here. We're going to give it 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Okay, that looks good. All right. Now we're going to come back down to the throttle, and we're going to push it back to 1/4 inch right there, and that's good. Then we're going to go up to our ignition switch here, and we're going to get this baby fired up. But let's go back to that for just a second. Now we're going to give it about 2 or 3 seconds of high boost prime right there, or regular old boost prime, I should say, and then we're going to get this thing fired up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I've got my ignition ready to go. Let's give it a little bit of that boost pump. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Let's fire it up. Okay, we got a nice clean start right there. So let's pull our throttle back to 1,000-ish here. Let's get Alt 1 avionics. 1, 2 avionics are on there. That's a check. Let's reduce our power back to 1,070, which we did. And we're back up top here. Okay. Excellent. Okay, now let's go take care. What do I do next? Okay, I filed a flight plan over here on Pilot Edge. Let me see if I can see, how do I show you that? Like I say, I'm a rusty pilot. I'm also a rusty X-plane pilot here right now. Let's see, that's an OBS view. Let's see, flight cockpit web. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, there I am. All right. So we're going to go up here on Pilot Edge is where I filed this flight plan. All right. Actually, I've signed in here. You don't need to see it today. I'll show you the flight plan here in a second. But that's what it, where we file that here when I'm flying on the sim. All right. All right. So it looks like our stream is working properly and everything's happening. All right. That's all good. All right. Excellent. I see we got, all right, good. That's out of here. Okay, so now let me get rid of that. A lot of stuff here when you're doing a stream and all of this. Okay, so we've got the plane started up. That's a good thing. The next thing we want to do is get some weather and so forth. So let's pull up our trusty little iPad here. If you go over to KSMO here, actually, let's just do it old school. We'll go and click on the KSMO button here, and now we can get some information here, including our ATIS. So we're going to go up here to the cockpit views. We're going to come up close here. So I'm going to go down here on COM2. You can see down here that I've already got 11915 actually programmed in already. So I'm just going to go down to the our GCU down here. All right, I'm going to flip over to COM2 and monitor that, which should be ATIS. Okay, so that's hotel. We've got winds 230 at 14. That's pretty snappy. Gusting 25 is even snappier, but we've got good visibility. We got some clouds at 7.5. We'll be flying at 6. 2980 is our altimeter. So let's go ahead and get that altimeter set. So let's come back up top here. Let's come in close. Let's go 2980 on the altimeter. Let's do the same down here on my backup instrument. 2980 is all set. All right, so that's all good. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to call up. Let's go back to our instruments here. 121 point. We're going down to 2 here. 121. Okay, what's going on here? Let's go 121. There we go. 121.9. Go this way. It's a little quicker. 121.9. That is our ground frequency here at Santa Monica, and also our clearance delivery. Now we filed that flight plan with Pilot Edge, ATC for all intents and purposes here. While we're at it, I'm going to go put my fuel. We got fuel on board of 89 gallons. I'm going to put that over in that flight info sheet that I just talked to you about here. I'm going to start filling in some of my other information on that flight info sheet. Our frequencies 119.15, 121.9 is ground, 120.1 is tower, likely to be 125.2 on the departure. We'll confirm that again. Okay, so now let's go back down to here. We're going to go ahead and go talk on COM2 here. Hang on, what happened? There we go. Okay, let's go talk on COM2. There we go. Santa Monica ground, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra at Atlantic with hotel. Like to pick up my IFR flight plan to San Luis Obispo. Okay, we're clear to San Luis Obispo. On departure, we'll fly runway heading to 1,000 feet, then right turn 250, then radar vectors for Ventura, then ASFILE, 3,000 to start, 8,005, 125.2 on the departure, 1643 on the squawk, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, now let's go program that all into the flight plan here, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back down to that GCU here. Let's come in there close. And we're going to go to our transponder. and we're going to put in 1643, which you can see right here. So that's a check. We've got 125. Let's come up top here to the let's go back up to COM here. We're going to go 125 up top here. 125.2 is our departure frequency. So that's a check. I'm going to scratch that off the list. We want our altitude of 3,000 to start. That's what we're going to put in right here. Runway heading is we're going to pick that up here in a minute. So we got 3,000 to start. We want to bug 250, which is going to be our heading after we get to 1,000 feet here. Okay, we've got that set. That's going to check that off the list. All right, so now let's go and check our flight plan here. I should have in here. Okay. KSMO. Nope, I don't have that one in there. Okay, so let's go to our flight plan. And let's go, and we want KSMO. We want Ventura, Victor, Tango, Uniform, enter, enter. We want San Marcos, which is Romeo, Zulu, Sierra, enter, enter. Okay, that's good. Then we want MQO, MQO, enter, enter. Then we want KSBP, KSBP, enter, enter. And there is our flight plan all set up and ready to go. All right, so that's all checked now. Let's do a little bit of homework ahead of time here. Put it in on our flight info sheet. Let me come up here for a second, and let's go. All right, okay, our flight info sheet here. I'm going to go to KSBP here, and we're going to go, actually just going to hit that little button right here and get some frequency. So our ATIS is going to be 120.6 at San Luis Obispo. I'm going to put that in on my flight info sheet down here in the approach area. We want our tower frequency is 124.0, and once we get on the ground, we want 121.6. All right, so all of that is taken care of. Let's go ahead and clean all that up, and now we're back in action here. Okay, let's see if anybody's watching. Oh, we got 4. All right, folks. Once we get up in the air, I'm going to see if anybody wants to chat. Nice to see some folks here. You can announce who you are a little bit later. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm watching that. Trying to multitask here a little bit. It's actually good for the good exercise for our brain. Okay, what do we got? We've got our flight plan loaded. We've got our frequencies loaded. We've got our flight plan filed. We're ready to go. So now I just need to come back down here to the, let's get over here. A lot of stuff going on here. Okay, our cockpit. And let's go back down here and to the, there we are, the GCU. And now we're going to go back over to COM2, and we're going to call up ground and tell them we're ready to taxi. Santa Monica ground, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra to Atlantic, ready to taxi. 21 via Alpha 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, so now let's go back over to our flight setups here. We're going to toggle our brake. Let's take a pilot view here. Let's toggle that brake, which you can see going away here. Now let's pay attention here. Let's go back to our checklist over here. Okay, get out of the way, tough guy. All right, so I'm going to get us down to, first I'm going to stop here and get my before starting engine. We started the engine, taxiing. Okay, our parking brake is off. Our brakes are off. HSI orientation is good. Attitude gyro is good. We'll check our turn coordinator here once we get going. All right. Turn coordinator working properly. You can see it in there. Okay, so let's go. See if we can fly an airplane. Okay, doors are locked and closed. Our caps handle is done. Our seatbelts, shoulder harnesses are secure. Our fuel quantity, we got 89 gallons. We're all good there. Fuel selector's on the fullest tank. Let's keep it on the center line. Our fuel pump is good. Our mixture is full right now. Our flaps, let's go flaps down 1. Let's keep her on the center line here. Transponder is set 1643. Autopilot will check the rest of this in the run-up area here. Beautiful day out today in Cali. So Cali, I should say. Windy though. Windy and chilly. I was out playing golf a little bit earlier today. So we're going to pull up here in the run-up area and do a little run-up. Got our flaps out here. Okay, we're all good. Now, for any of you guys who are wondering, I'm flying on the Real Sim Gear Cirrus cockpit, not the new, what is it, the G7 version. I don't have that. That would be nice just to play around with that, but I need to start flying a little bit more here. All right, so this is the area over here at the Real Santa Monica Airport. It's the run-up area. Here it's a little murky over what this is, but I'm going to go in there and make believe it's old times here, and I'm flying the plane the way we used to. Okay, so this should put me right in front of the whole short line, and there it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle my parking brake. I'm going to come back in here. We're going to come up close. And we're going to do our engine check and all of that stuff, okay? Autopilot, let's test our autopilot. Put it on. Okay, there's our autopilot. We're going to, let's go in heading mode here. You can see the bars are turning there a little bit. All right, so autopilot is good. Let's check. Enter navigation radios are set 12. Actually, no, they're not. Up top we got 125.2. We want 120. You got to get over on that page here. We got to get a little quirk there. 120.1. Okay, we're going to flip that over now. Now we're all set there. Let's go back here to our engine page here and roller spinner up here. Okay, so we're going to go to 1700 RPM. Let's go there. Yeah, that's a little hot. See if we can get it down a little bit. There, much better. Okay, so now we're going to go over here and we're going to be looking for some activity here on our electrical side. So I'm going to go nav. Strobe's already on. Landing light should push this up a little bit, and it does, as you can see. Ice should push it up a little bit. Wood on the real plane. Pitot heat's going to blow up Alt 2, and you can see that happening there. All right, so all of that is good. Now we're going to we're going to keep our power there, and we're going to go and toggle or cycle through our mags here. So first we're going to go left mag. We've got a drop of 90-ish. We have some EGTs rising. That's what's supposed to happen. Okay. So let it reset to 1720. Now we're going to go for our right mag. And we got a drop of 50, 60 as EC, or the EGTs are moving. So that's good. We'll go back there. Pull our power back to 1,000-ish. And there we go. And let's go back to our checklist here. Okay, so we got all of these. Let's come down here. Navigation radios are set. Cabin heat defrost good. Brakes are holding. We did 1700. Alternator, pitot heat, navigation. Let's turn them off. Pitot heat is off. Ice is off. Landing lights are off. Voltage is good. 0. We're looking good. Pitot heat is not required. Nav lights are not required. Landing lights are not required. Magnetos we've checked. Engine parameters are good. We're at 1,000. Our flight control is free and correct. Let's go look outside here, and you can just see. Let's go outside. All right. Well, that's a little deep. All Let's go tail view. Let's go tail cam. All right, let's kind of just zoom in a little bit here. All right, you can see they're moving right there. Let's try our rudder, ailerons up and down, so that's all working properly. Okay, back to the pilot view here. Okay, and let's come up close. Our flight controls are good. Trim is set for takeoff. Let's go trim. Okay, the trim's good. Autopilot's disconnected. Okay, we know how to take off, so let's go to our next one, which is our climb, lean at peak there, and let's go back to our screen here. Okay, now let's go close here. All right, let's make sure we've got all of this on our all right, let's go and make sure we've got all of this stuff here. Got our pilot view. Okay, let's go. What am I looking for? iPad. Okay, there's our iPad. You can see our route right there. We've got our altitude. Everything is set properly here. I think we're ready to go start flying this airplane. So let's go back to our cockpit view. All right, there it is. Let's go. Okay. All right, so our run up is complete. Let's go and taxi to the whole shoreline. Let's switch over to COM 1 now.
Approaching runway 21.
All right, there we are, runway 21. Okay. Santa Monica Tower, Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra, holding short, runway 21, ready for departure. 21, clear for takeoff, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, so let's give it a go. Okay, we're going to head out here.
Entered runway 21, 3,400 feet remaining.
All right, let's get her on the line here. Let's go trim. Flaps, mixture, boost is all set. We've got our heading set for 250. Our CAPS scenario here. If we have an engine issue on the runway, we're going to pull the power, hit the brakes, and abort the takeoff. If we have an engine issue between rotation and 600 above ground, we're going to hit the brakes or pull the power, hit the brakes, and abort the takeoff. If we have an engine issue after rotation between 600 and 2,000, we're going to pull the parachute, mixture off, tanks off, ignition off, land straight ahead. Beyond that, we're going to fly straight ahead. Okay, let's get flying here. Everybody ready to rumble? Let's do this. Start her in there slow. Let that left. All right, let's get her going. Power's all the way in. Okay, eyes down the runway. Let's see if we can keep it on the runway. See, whoa, there we go. Come on. We got a little, it's not too good there. Yeah, a little tricky there with the controls there. All right, flaps at 90. There's 90. All right. Looking for 1,000. Let's go indicated airspeed 120. All right, coming up on 1,000 feet. We're going to start that turn, so let's go into heading mode. Turn right to 250. There's 240.
Class Bravo in 1.4 miles.
There's 250. All right. Keep her on 250. We're going to go to 3,000. Now I'm keeping it on auto, or not on autopilot, right? We're going to fly this plane here and see how we do. Okay, we got 3,000. Santa Monica Tower, Sirius 768 Foxtrot Sierra 3000, request frequency change. Contacting SoCal departure 8 Foxtrot Sierra. SoCal departure, Sirius 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 3000 off Santa Monica. Climb maintain 8,000 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, so there's our 8 that we want. Let's go indicated airspeed. Let's pull back. Want 8,000, and we're going to pull back to 120. All right, so no autopilot yet. Is that for 8 Foxtrot Sierra? Direct Ventura, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, so let's scroll it down to, let's come up close. Let's scroll it down to Ventura. Let's go direct, enter, and then go nav. And now we'll go into autopilot and let the plane do some work for us. Show you some cool little views here. Let's go nose high center. There we are, coming off a beautiful Santa Monica Airport. That's living right there, folks. Pitot required. Let's put the pitot heat on. Let's put a pilot in this plane so I don't scare you guys. We come over here and there's no pilot. Okay, now let's go wingtip left. There I am. All right, beautiful. All right. There we are. There's the wingtip to the right, looking out to Hawaii. Check out our wingman view here. Wingman left. There we go. All right. All right, so let's go through one of our checklists here. Okay, so checklist. We're coming up. Climb leap. All of that is good. Silverhead temperatures, everything is green right now. We're coming up on cruise here in a second. Let's go back to our map. I'm going to pull back our power just a little bit. All right, you can see where everything is set here in the cockpit right now. Okay, we're coming up on 8,000. We're going to be there in a second. Okay, there is 8,000. There's your 8,000. Okay, so we're going to let her speed up a little bit, pick up a little momentum. Once it gets up about 145, 150, I'll start pulling back my power. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my tanks over to the right here. Okay, now we got some power, so I'm going to pull that baby back now to about 30.5 is what we're looking for. And it's a little hot. Come on, let's get her in there. It's tricky finding it. That's not too bad there. Then we'll pull it back to the green line here. Actually, what I want is about 16.1, 16.2 ish should get me 75%. There's 16. There's 16.3 is getting me 75 cents. We're running a lean a peak, so we are all good. We're going to check all our instruments or our engine readings here right now. Make sure everything's good. We got green. We got green. We got green all the way. We love the green. Love that green. All right, so now this is where you love flying in the Cirrus because it makes it nice and easy for you. We just take a look around. There's into the valley. There's the beautiful Pacific Ocean. Nothing quite like it, folks. Got good speed. Everything's good. Okay, now let's go over to our flight plan here. Let's pull down to KSBP. And what you'll notice here is if we come in close up on the okay, so if we come in here, you'll notice down at the bottom, I skipped ahead to Kilo Sierra Bravo Papa, San Luis Obispo. And what I can do is I can get a little cheat on the weather right there. So winds are coming at 321 and gusting 31. Hello. All right. All right, so some of that was probably blocked by that iPad. My apologies, folks. Here, let's just see if anybody is online here. Oh, hey. Okay, I just doing a little viewing of some. We got to say hello to Todd. Your bot must be roasting in there without AC. Oh, yeah. Pilot Chip, hey, ATC here. Pilot Chip, hey, ATC here if you have any questions. Nice, Pilot Chip. Looking good. How did I do, Pilot Chip, for a rusty pilot? All right, thanks, Pilot Chip. You're an ATC guy, Chip. Where do you work out of? What flight area do you use? Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at the chat board here for a second. So I'm gonna go back to flying the plane, folks. Everything's SoCal approach. Okay. God, I used to fly around SoCal quite a bit. So unless you're really new in the last couple of years, likely we talked on the radio. You guys do a fantastic. Did I mention you do a fantastic job here around Southern California? For all of you new pilots or people that are just taking up flying that are a little nervous about talking to ATC, let me just tell you, those guys are there to help. They do an amazing job, and I hope we can keep you guys working these days with all the folks getting retired or fired and all of that. I hope that doesn't happen to anybody we know here. I've always threatened Pilot Chip to do a tour, and I never did it when I was flying, and I probably should have, but I'm a lazy bastard, so I apologize for that. Anyway, I'm going to go back to flying the plane here a little bit, so I'll be back here in a couple of minutes. Any questions you got, folks? There's a big 5 of us in here. I was a little nervous about doing a live stream because it exposes just how rusty I am, but that wasn't actually horrible on the way out of there. Okay, so let me bail out of this for just a second. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so let's come up close here and take care of a little business. One of the things I like to do, and you hear it when you're a brand new pilot, is you got to stay ahead of the plane. You got to stay ahead of the plane. And you're thinking, stay ahead of the plane, I can barely keep my head straight. But what they're really talking about is when you get a moment, like right now, instead of talking to everybody in the chat room, the best thing to do is kind of plan ahead a little bit. So what I like to do is throw in some frequencies that I'm likely to be using here shortly. So I'm going to go down to COM2 where I like to be all my pre-planning stuff. I'm going to go to 120.6, which is our ATIS frequency for San Luis Obispo. Then I'm going to put in 124.0 because that'll be the next person I talk to, which will be Tower. Then I'll flip those up there. Now I've got one thing off the list I don't have to worry about, okay? And the less you have to worry about in the moment, the better off you are. Better to stay ahead of it a little bit and not have to stress yourself out. Okay, so let's get rid of these things here. I like to keep a clean map here. So we're up to Ventura now. So if we look off to our right here, we should see Camarillo Airport over there somewhere. Let me show you on the map here, OBS and the cockpit iPad. All right, so right now we're looking over here, and I can look on the map here, and you can see right kind of off to up in here is where we've got Camarillo. So always a good idea, folks, to be looking for airports because you never know when you might actually need one. And not the one you're flying to, by the way. All righty. Now, I manage all this stuff here in the cockpit. Nav data is out of date. Okay, that's how rusty I am. All right, that I would have checked in my day. 124.7, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. 124.7. Point Magoo approach, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, level 8,000. Was that 29 or 83? I lost you. 29 or 80, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, so here we are. It's 29 or 80. We looked at that. We've got that already set in there. I got that on my backup instrument as well. Let's see if we got anybody new in the chat room. Make sure. Looking for airports, that's a great idea for a situation in an emergency. You can always tell AC where you want to go in addition to asking for a close airport. That's great advice. Sitting here in San Luis, wind blowing heavier than average, 20-30 is accurate. Hey, D. Smith, first off, thanks for joining us here. This is kind of fun. Like, flying an airplane is something I love to do. You can do it by yourself, but it's always much more fun doing it with other people and doing it virtually speaking without the burden of having to pay for it all is even better. But what I love about the simulator world and the technology here today is that it really, with my little Cirrus cockpit I have right here, I literally feel like I'm sitting in my old Cirrus, and being able to pull real weather and have real conditions to think about in the comfort of a simulator setup is so great. And for anybody that's just starting to fly today, I think you probably picked a great time. And as every new plane gets built, they build more and more technology into all of this stuff, and it just makes it great here. So good to know that it's accurate here, because if we were landing in 20-30 mile an hour winds, you got to have a little commitment there. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little, I'm going to bail out here for a second and see if I can give another little lesson for some of our some of our friends that are just starting here. Okay, so I'll put the iPad up there for you, right? And so I'm going to go over here to KSBP. I'm going to go full screen here right now because what I want to look at is our runway setup. So right now, the winds were blowing pretty heavy. Let's go back to our flight plan here. Let's see if you can see that, and I'll come up close here. Okay, so you see down here in this little bottom area, it's this is something that they've updated in the flight model here for X-Plane 12. And I got to get in touch with my buddy Cooper LeComte, who built this Torque Sim flight model that I just love. It says here we got 300. The winds are coming from 300 at 21, gusting 31. Our friend in San Luis Obispo has confirmed that that is real. Our altimeter is 2989. So anyway, 300 is what we're looking at. There happens to be a runway there, runway 29. So the good news is, and it's showing, as you can see here on the iPad, I hope you can see it, it's showing 21 to 32, but it's pretty much right down the barrel. So if you were going to be taking on some 25, 30 mile an hour winds, best to have them right in your face, right? Unless you're a golfer, in which case it would be best to have it right behind you. But we're not playing golf or flying an airplane right now. So at any rate, that's good news. So we can go ahead and start planning for runway 29 is what I'm going to do, okay? And in the spirit of staying ahead of the ball game, I'm going to use, it's one thing to go out and buy $1 million plus plane like a Cirrus to have all that great technology. But I got to tell you, as somebody who did that, you don't need to spend $1 million to get a lot of great technology. And all you need is an iPad and a pro subscription to ForeFlight, and you can do some amazing things there. So let's go up here into the right corner. We're going to go procedures, okay? And this is where I kind of do a little advanced planning. So I want an approach here because there's some clouds in the neighborhood here. We want to land on runway 29. Runway 29. So let's watch. Which one of these do we want? I think we're going to take winners and A. We don't want winner. I think we'll take KDAB as our initial approach vex just for yucks. And that looks good. So I'm going to add that to the route here and see how that looks. And if KDAB is our initial approach fix, and we can go down here in the nav log and see where this is. We got 8. So if we get KDAB, we're coming straight in. Okay, so that's what we're going to look for when we get it. Okay. So let's now having seen that on the iPad, let's just go ahead and clean that out. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. OBS views, X-Plane clean. Okay. Now we're going to come back over here to our pilot view. Okay, great. Let's go back in here, close up. Let's go flight plan here. Okay, so now we're going to click on the procedure button here on the, okay, I've got all these buttons here I've got on my Elgato USB controllers, which is how I try to manage, flying the plane and also giving everybody a chance to see what the heck I'm doing here. Okay. What am I trying to do here now? Oh, okay. I'm going to try to go down and show you the GCU. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm going to go down here, and this is not the screen you're seeing here is not the one on the plane, so I shouldn't worry about it too much. But I'm going to go ahead and click the procedure button. Okay, so now we'll go back up top, procedure button, and we're going to go down here and select an approach. And I want the RNAV 29 help 2055 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you. We want KDAB. We'll come back to that. So let's go 2055. Take care of navigate, aviate, but right now let's not wait too long. Let's go flip it in there. Let's come back up top here. Santa Barbara approach, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, level 8,000. Two 2981 for Santa Barbara, thank you. Okay, switch 2981. Okay, now let me take a breather and figure out what I'm trying to do. Okay, I want to go pull up that approach plate. Let's go here and get a binder. Add a flight binder. Okay, I'm going to show you this too. This is how I'm using iPad. All right, so I'm going over here. I'm going to add a flight binder for KSMO. Okay, so that's great. So now I have that. Now I can pull up the approaches here, and there is runway 29. So now I can get the information I want, which is what are our minimums here. The minimums is 831. Okay, so I got my barrel. Let's come up close here. Okay, so now I've got my barrel. I'm going to move that over, and it was 831. Is our minimums right there. Let's call it. Okay, that's close enough. Then I'll hit enter. And as you can see, that is now displayed over here as my little reminder once I get a little bit closer. Okay. Let's do a little bit more investigation on this chart here. Our airport elevation is 212 feet. Now I'm putting all of this stuff here on my where is my little sheet here? Flight info doc. There you go. Okay, so I'm putting all this information right here on my little flight info sheet. So let's go and see. We've got 212. Okay. Our minimums we got was 831. I'm writing this all down just in case I forget it. We're going to put in, we're on runway 29. RNAV 29 is what we want. That runway is, let's see, how much runway do we have there? 5,600 feet. All right, so we got plenty of room there to land this puppy. And so let's clean that up now. Let's come back in the cockpit. Let's pull out a little bit. Let's take a look around. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in California. California gets a bad rap around the rest of the country. Kind of bums me out a little bit because my experience is people come out to California, no matter what your preset is in your head, it's not as kooky as you think, and it's a lot more beautiful than you've heard. And when you're flying around up here in places like this, it's just, well, I just got to say, I just love it myself. Looking out to the ocean there. On the way up to Santa Barbara-ish. Let's look out that front window here. Okay, so let's go back to our map here. Pull out a little bit. Okay, now talking about looking for airports, there's an airport up here in Santa Barbara, which we're going to pass behind, which is another one of my kind of, if I was really in the plane and just wanted to go out and have some fun, I'd just go up to Santa Barbara and make it nice and easy. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put a sexy little view on this. Let's go wingman left. No, let's go wingman right. There you go. Gotta love that. This is the fun part of flying on the sim when you're making a video. Makes it kind of fun. Okay, so while we have that fun little view there, let's come back in here and let's see if I can get us back in and see if there's anybody. We got a few more folks in here. Good to hear from you again, Diego. John, nice to see you. X-Lane is looking pretty good. Would you recommend that over Flight Sim for mainly IFR flying? Now, to be fair, Pilot Chip, I haven't used Microsoft Flight Sim very much at all. And when I did use it, it was very sexy. The graphics were amazing. The accuracy in terms of what happens in the plane, what happens on the instruments, and what was happening on theirs were not great. So I use X-Plane 12. I'm heavily biased toward that. One of the kids that put together the flight model you're seeing there, a kid named Cooper LeCompte, very smart, talented guy who now works for RealSim Gear, put this thing together. So there's a little personal connection there as well. I took him up in my Cirrus one day. We flew from Seattle to Los Angeles. Great, great, great young man. And if you're listening or watching, Coop, I hope you're doing well. All right, so Mr. M. Cutherman says, have you flown much since selling the Cirrus? Only in the simulator, truth be told. So Dave Smith or D. Smith, I do not have my Cirrus. I sold it a couple of years ago. That's why you've not seen me lately. And I'm a new pilot and contemplating a sim for my SR. Well, let me tell you this, D. Smith. When you're flying around in that Cirrus, it's a lot of airplane if you're not flying a bunch, right? And it's not the most expensive plane in the world, but it's not cheap either, so the cost of a simulator, a real Cirrus simulator, because there are some great ones out there now, including from the fine folks at RealSim Gear, for the old G6 models and also for the new G7. I've seen the setup. I haven't had a chance to even fly on the sim here. But I got to tell you, I think it's the best investment you could possibly make here, because when you are flying approaches and flying IFR routes, and as you can hear right here on this broadcast here, this whole idea of getting comfortable with ATC, getting comfortable with the language and the lingo, and experiencing a little bit of this in the comfort of your home is huge, right? So if you're thinking about getting a simulator set up and you can afford that, I would say stop thinking and call up RealSim Gear and let them hook you up. Great people, great support. Just love them. And I bought a lot of gear from them. They hooked me up on a little bit of stuff here as well, to be fair. But the truth of the matter is I was happy to pay for all the stuff I had there. Okay, who else is in here? All right, so let's go back to the airplane. Let's go back, X-Plane clean. Let's get that. All right. Now, the funny part about this, and again, the whole virtual world, which I just find fascinating, is one of my buddies way back in, 1993 or 94, we were on, this was the earliest days of the internet. I want to say it was like a 56 baud modem, and if only the old guys will even know what that is, much less have experienced how slow that was. But we were sitting in his house. We were both in the music business, and he was in complete, unmitigated devourer of all things music. So I would go over to his house, and he'd have his legal pad listing his 100 favorite freaking new CDs, and I would go over there and ask him to give me his 3 favorites. And anyway, one day we were there at the very earliest days of the web, watching some naughty content unveil itself one line of pixels at a time. And he said something that was absolutely true. He goes, Randy, there's more truth and more bullshit on the internet than anywhere in the world. And we see so much of that play out in terms of all the funny business that can happen with technology. Having said that, the beauty of it is here we are, flying, quote unquote, in an airplane. And when I look out the window in this plane, like right now, right, that's what it looked like in my Cirrus. Now, I don't have the whole picture here, and if I wanted to spend some money and got some of the guys from RealSim Gear to come and hook me up, I could probably do the 360, have it feel like I'm looking out the window. But this is good enough. If I want to look around, I just roll around and do it. But this is pretty amazing. And right now, having a chat with you lot is great, because this is what I'd be doing in the plane with a friend. We'd be talking shop. we would be having some fun. And that's what it's all about. And one of the things that I really, really enjoyed and kind of miss about the not having my plane is that kind of camaraderie, to be honest. It was very intoxicating, and I found that pilots were a great bunch. It didn't matter your politics. It didn't matter who you were praying to or sleeping with. It didn't matter at all. When you're up in that plane, baby, it was just all in, and something very, very powerful about that. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox here now. Yeah, D. Smith, Real Sim Gear, I just love their stuff. I'm biased. There's other companies out there that make serious gear. The guys at Real Sim Gear, they just love it. Mr. M. Cutherman, again, it's interesting you talk about instrument proficiency. One of the great things, again, about the simulator, right, is that you can dial things in, to make it as ugly as you want to be it, just to get comfortable with the notion of, okay, I better trust this pink line because I can't see anything. And it's one thing to talk about getting your IFR rating. It's quite another to actually be up in the clouds the first time, bouncing around. And I'll just say it, I was scared shitless the first few times. And people would send me notes, oh, you're so calm up there. I'm thinking, oh, God, if they only knew, right? And it takes time to get comfortable with that, and waiting to pop out of the sky and hope that there's a runway down there. So every minute that you get to practice that on a simulator where the threat of death is not looming is a good thing. So anyway, and avgas is a lot cheaper in the sim, and I can drink coffee in my sim, which I never did in my plane because I could just put her on pause and head for the bathroom. So anyway, all right. Good hanging out with you lot. All right, okay, I'm going to go back to the cockpit and take care of a little business here. Okay, so now let me go back and show you OBS Views cockpit iPad. All right. Again, why I love the cockpit. You see a lot of green around there, right? And let's just see. Let's go. And a little bit of that yellow means that there should have been some rain off to our right there. And let's just see. Yeah, so we're at 8,000 feet, so that's probably a little bit below. Let me see if I go and go back over to the iPad and clouds. We don't VFR and clouds. We don't want VFR. We want, what am I looking for? Geez, see, I've lost my chops here, folks. Let's go with our radar. We got the classic. There it is. Let's go and there's no icing in there without we can see. Temperature ceiling is what I'm looking for. $24.15, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, let's go take care of business here for the man. Okay, we want 12415. Flip it over. Santa Barbara approach, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 8,000. Two niner, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. 298 right there, and on my backup instrument here. Okay, so now we should be coming in here. So now this is, and our friend ATC controller can help us out here. This is where I start, looking to plan ahead a little bit. So I've got KDAB already loaded in here in the let's get rid of that iPad for right now. Let's go over here. Explain clean. Okay, back here. This is where I start thinking ahead and start looking, and I'll start pinging the ATC guys. And so our friend Chip can tell us whether that bothers an ATC guy or not. I was always, if I was getting a little impatient, I would just get on the radio and say, hey, I'm looking for the RNAV 29 starting at KDAB. Do I discuss that with you or the next guy? So I'm just trying to stay ahead of the game. So just to irritate my controller friend here, let's see, how far am I from, I'm 12.3 miles. So I'm going to start asking him about it right now. Santa Barbara approach 0768 Foxtrot Sierra request. I'm looking for the RNAV 29 at San Luis Obispo starting at KDAB. You can expect that. Thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, so now I've got it loaded here, and you can see over here, let's come up close. My altitude is 3,900 square feet. I got something on my mind. 3,900 feet is going to be our the number we want right there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go put in 3,900 here, because when he does clear me to there, I'm going to use my VNAV function to to assist me on the way down here. Okay, so to get things started, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to have KDAB loaded there, and now, if I go ahead and hit activate approach, let me see. Okay, let's come up close here again. This is where you got to stay on the ball here. Now you can see my tanks are now getting a little out of whack here. So let's go down here. We're going to flip this over to the left-hand tank here. Okay, so this would be fun. We've got some clouds ahead of us. Okay, so make it interesting. Santa Barbara approach 0768 Foxtrot Sierra. Are you going to be starting me down here shortly? Descent maintained 6,000 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, let's go down to 6. Okay, now I'm going to pull a little bit of power here. Watching my speed there. All right, now again, that's kind of just staying ahead of the plane, and obviously I'm getting a little freaking neurotic about it, but I don't want to be rushing in an airplane. Rush not good. All right, I'm going to take one quick look here in the chat room, see who else we got here. Thanks, Chip. Sometimes you're going to put it in the data block. Sometimes you'll need to advise the next controller. Thanks for the suggestion, Chip. And this, now here you go, folks. Now, when are you going to be able to talk to a air traffic controller without feeling stressed? Hi, I'm Cutherman. Okay, last year flying to Dallas. Here, ATIS and TK said ILS. Senator said expect ILS. Handed off approaching given direct to IF or RNAV. They're the controller. Sometimes you don't get what you ask for. again, Pilot Chip can speak to this. Controllers can make mistakes, and I think as a pilot, what I learned is, if you kind of have an idea of what's coming next, then and you're certain about it, if something happens that you don't think is correct, this was a big lesson for me. You're the pilot. You can say, I'd like this one again. So you got to be somewhat assertive, but the controller guys know what they're doing. But a lot of stuff going on up there, a lot of shit happening in real time. So everybody's got to trust everybody. And so when somebody makes an error, you think you can always have a chance to push back a little bit and just say, I'd like this one, and they might just say, okay, no problem. Chip could speak to that, I'm sure. Clear to wreck Cadab, 8 Foxtrot 0. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So now I'm going to go up here to my menu, not the menu, I want to go procedure, and I want to activate the approach, and it should take me direct to KDAB, which you can see up here, and it does. Okay, so now I'm heading for KDAB, okay, and as you can see over here, let me see if I can scroll it up tight here. This is where our top descent is to make that 3,900 number, which you see right here, okay? So now, if he gives me, if I'm okay to now start descending, I think we're probably cleared for the altitude, but I'm a little bit rusty, so I'm going to ask the question here. Santa Barbara approach, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Am I cleared to start my descent for KDEP? Thank you so much. Okay, perfect example right there. I wasn't sure. I'm a little rusty, So rather than guess, you should take the advice of my Tuesday loop when I was a caddy. He said, Stevie, you don't ask, you don't get. The lovely Mrs. Ellis. And that's fine advice in life. Also, really fine advice I found when flying an airplane. If you don't know, don't fake it. If you don't ask, you don't get. So ask the question and make certain. And there's lots of people up there depending on you to do the right thing. So while it's fun to be up here flying and being the pilot in command, there's lots of people around you and underneath. Descent maintain 5, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to get to 5 here. He's going to just walk us down, flying. So now I'm going to go vertical speed, push it down to about 700-800 feet a minute, and I'm going to keep my eye on my speed over here on the left.
Destination ATIS is 120.6.
All right, now that's a good little cue right there. I also have up here 126.6 loaded here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to this throttle quadrant here. Let me get back over here. Where's my throttle? All right, so now I'm going to go and monitor ATIS. Okay, so we got alpha now. All right, so we've got that. So now we know we're landing on runway 29. We've got alpha. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip over to, on COM 2, I'm going to flip over 124.0, which is our tower, 121.6. Jeez. A little glitch in here. 121 point. There's 121.6. Okay, so now That's going to be our ground frequency. Now I'm all set. All I got to do is flip over to tower when he gives me the instructions, and I'm ready to go. So now we're sitting on 5,000. Let's go to our flight plan here for a second. Come up close here. Again, using all the tools you got. We got 2 minutes and 28 seconds to top of descent, okay? Staying ahead of the game. Trying not to get surprised. We don't want any freaking surprises. Surprises, not good. Not good when you're flying an airplane. One of my instructors, if you've watched any of my videos, a guy by the name of Ed Waters, who's literally a walking freaking encyclopedia. Cross KDAB at 3900 or above, cleared for the approach, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to go VNAV and set, and I'm going to roll this down to 3900, and that means I'm going to cross. We're going to cross at 3,900, which is matched up here. It's matched up here, and it's what we're looking for here. So the plane in 1 minute and 33 seconds should start its descent. If it doesn't, I'm going to take over and handle it myself. And now that the approach has been activated, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my GCU here, and I am going to go ahead now and arm the approach, and now we are set. I believe everything should happen. So we're going to initial approach fix. We got 1 minute and 3 seconds to our top of descent, and if that baby doesn't start going down, I'm going to push it down, and we're looking good. So now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and check our missed approach. Our missed approach is, I'm going to do that on the iPad, okay? So now we're going to come down here, missed approach to the top right, climb to 1100, then climbing left turn, okay? So I put all that information down here on my flight info sheet again. So we're going to climb 1100, then climbing left turn to 4,100, and then direct Wunul, W-U-N-U-L. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing on the plate. Now I want to go over here back to the PFD here and make sure that's what I'm looking. Let's come up close. Let's go scroll down here and make sure that's what we got. 1100, Wunul hold. Okay, great. So now we got all our shit together here, and VPath is now kicked in, which you can see right here. Okay, so that happened as it was supposed to happen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling some power because I've got 2.7 miles, and now I'm going to start pulling some power. Let's go to our descent check, cruise check. We did all that stuff, so now let's go descent. We got oxygen's good, our altimeter is good, our landing light, let's get the landing light on. Our fuel system, we're going to go push the mixture full right now. Brake pressure is good. Okay. Before landing checklist, our seatbelt and shoulder harness is good. Let's get that power. Don't lose too much of the power here. Lost. Yeah, see, there's another great lesson for you. Don't get lost in the checklist and all that. You got to keep flying the plane here. So, all right, so we're coming in nice and slow. We got 1.5 miles. We're going to be fine. We want to be about 100, 110 at that final approach fix. Okay, our before landing checklist, our fuel pump is in boost. Mixture is full rich. Our flaps is, we'll wait till we make the turn, and then we'll go flaps, and then autopilot back to the map here. Okay, and once we get to that KDAB, we're going to make a gentle turn to 290. And the final approach fix here is going to be Kavli at 2400. There's Kavli. Let's go to 2400 now. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Uh-oh, we're going into a hold here. Okay, we don't want that. We want to go to WooTube direct, enter to WooTube. So let's get her back on track. Okay, so that was a little wrinkle here. Did I have the right approach located here? Jeez. Actually, we want Halda. Direct enter Halda. Okay, so now we're getting back on track here. Okay, so that was, perfect example of rusty freaking pilot. Okay, so Halda, we want to be at 2,900 feet here. So the approach is armed, and we know that because we can see the GP here. Okay, so we are back on track-ish. Yeah, let's get our speed back under control here. So, again, this is a great example, folks, of why you should be practicing because I got a little bit distracted. All of a sudden, I forgot about my power. I forgot what was going on. But, I was waiting for that next stop, and when it didn't do that, because there was a hold programmed in there, and I didn't take off the hold. My bad. Good. Next, hang on, flights here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at the approach plate here, runway 29, so I can figure out. We're landing on 29, so I want to get off on Foxtrot once I get on the ground. Okay, so we're back on Halda. We should be, okay, now you look up here. We're getting back on track. We should be making a gentle turn to 292 in 3, 2, 1 now. Is it going to turn? Yes, there's our turn. Okay, now we're looking good. Now we're heading for Cavally, the final approach fix. So I want 2,400 in here. And let's see if it's going to keep taking us down. And it is got the glide path now. Okay, great. So now we're going to put in our. Actually, we don't need the flaps just yet. We're looking good here. Run our switch our fuel tanks over to our fullest tank here. Let's look out the front window here. Okay, now we're looking good. We got the glide path. We're going to pull our power back to about 40 now. There's our power at 40-ish. Speed's 120. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to put my first notch of flaps in here on the G6. It's 150 knots-ish. Here you got 120. Okay, so we got our flaps in. Go back to our checklist, our descent checklist. Before flaps are in now, autopilot's required. Okay, now we're looking good. All right, this is a nice gentle approach in here to San Luis Obispo. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop watching the chat room using Avidine after. All right, Jets, I want to thank you all for joining me here today. It's been kind of fun. It's like having you in the plane, but we don't have to buy you lunch, or you don't have to buy me lunch. All right, I see a runway ahead. God bless America. Okay, my ground frequency's in. We're going to be ready to talk to tower. We got 121.6 is our numbers there. Got 1-2 to WooTube. We got 1.4 to WooTube. which sounds like you silly wabbit, but you silly whoop tube. All right. Anybody a Dodger fan? How about those Dodgers? I'm going to be watching them in a second. All right, so the next thing that should be happening is he should be flipping me over to Tower here shortly. And we wanted Foxtrot. Santa Barbara approach 8 Foxtrots here. Request frequency change to San Luis Tower. 24-0 it is. 8 Foxtrots here. San Luis Tower, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, RNAV 29 inbound with Alpha.
500.
29er, cleared to land. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thanks for all your help.
2 mile final runway 29.
Okay, we got 1.14. Let's go to our flaps 2 here. Let's go kick it off of autopilot here. Let her keep coming down. Okay, now let's go fly the airplane here. So we got some pretty stiff winds. You can see it on the MFD there. Okay, we don't have any red lights, so we're a little bit high. Let's follow that flight director here. I do miss my pathways, which when they went to X-Plane 12 went away. Okay, so let's kind of bring her down here. I'm going to go up top here now, folks, so I can see this the way it would be appearing in the plane. Okay. Pulling out a little bit of power, keeping her on the line. We want out at Foxtrot. Okay, this is where I'm getting my eyes down that runway, pulling out the power, trimming as we go. Eyes down the runway and just hold her off. That wasn't my greatest, but we're safe. Flaps coming up. Watching on my iPad for the Okay, we're coming up on Foxtrot. Over on our right here. There it is. Let's get our trim set in here. All right. San Luis Tower, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, clear 29, taxi for parking. Taxi parking via Alpha 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thanks for all your help. Okay, we're just going to go park. Okay, let's go ahead and let's put in our parking brake here. Okay, let's go. What am I doing here? Okay, I'm going to go cycle through all my stuff. So I'm going to pull back the mixer, start her up again, and then pull back the mixer all the way, and then we're good. Alrighty, let's turn all the stuff off here. Pitot heat's off, landing lights off, strobe light. Let's get our final fuel, which is 70 on board here. Okay, let's take care of that. All the switches are off here. Let's now go to our flight config. Let's go back one here. Shutdown sequence here. Okay, engine shutdown. Okay, nose. There we go. Our pilot view. Okay, throttle, fuel pump. We did all that. We cycled the ignition. Great. Okay, now we're going to go and get the rest of this taken care of. Okay, KSBP, we're going to put back our toggle, our pin, our cover back in there, and our pilot view. We're going to record our engine Hobbs numbers here. So let's open that glove box. Let's zoom in here. We've got 8.5 Hobbs. We've got 5.0 on our engine hours. So that's 1 hour of flight time on the engine. That's 1.3 on the Hobbs, and 19 gallons. I don't know what gas costs these days, but I'm betting it hasn't gone down since I stopped flying. So let's get out of there. We're going to enter that engine information over here, which you've seen before. We're going to close that glove box. We're going to come back up top. We're going to put our keys in there. We're going to disable Pilot Edge. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to get rid of the pilot right here. That's me. Oh, I guess not. All right, there we go. And we're now done. And let's go replace our pitot covers here. Okay, we don't actually need to do that. So let's just go back here. And just want to say it's been a pleasure flying with you guys today. Let's go back over here, external views. And there she is. Okay, my name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron. This is my Ren Baron, very rusty, dusty YouTube channel. I want to thank you guys for flying with us today, and we'll do it again real soon. Okay, thanks.